Welcome to CarbonAcademy's overview of mandatory carbon reporting. I'm Wendy Buckley and I'm the Commercial Director of Carbon Footprint. First of all, I hope that you're all listening in because you have some interest in measuring your carbon footprint, aside from the fact that it's going to become a legal requirement for a lot of businesses now to do so. So let's just remind on the reasons that you'll be doing this. I'm hoping you're doing this not only because you want to save costs and you want to contribute in a positive way towards climate change, but also because you want to improve your competitive positions and enhance your brand and your company's reputation within the marketplace. Over the last few weeks, we've had lots of news and lots of discussion following Nick Clegg, the Deputy Prime Minister's announcement at the Rio conference about the mandatory carbon reporting. So here's just a quick overview of who this is going to affect. So let's start from the top there. It is, at this stage, just those businesses on the main market of the London Stock Exchange. If we do a quick head count there are some 1,100 companies who are going to be involved in that. And it's important to say at this point that that means that there will be no SMEs involved. So those smaller businesses, you're not in scope at the moment. For larger businesses who are not listed as well, you're exempt from it at the moment. There are other types of listings out on the stock exchanges there, and I've mentioned there the AIM, that's also exempt at the moment. And let's not forget our friends as well in the public sector. You might be involved in other types of reporting, but you won't be involved in the mandatory reporting at the moment. Important to realise as well that even though you may not be required to report directly, you may find that if you have clients within your supply chain that are required to report, that they will start looking down their supply chains. So it's quite reasonable to expect them to come to you, expecting you to disclose the situation with your carbon assessments. So far, we know this about the timeline. Clearly, we've had the announcement last month about the mandatory reporting, and this month we're still expecting to see the draft regulation document coming out. So I guess that will mean any day now we'll see that appearing. Immediately after that, there's going to be a 12-week consultation period, so that's the time to have your views known on the new legislation. By April 2013 is the time when the programme is going to go live and they'll start requiring the reporting information. I guess during the consultation period that might come under scrutiny a little bit more, but we'll wait to see what happens there. Moving the scheme forward, in 2015 it's planned to have a review of the whole programme, and the intent there is to roll the scheme out more broadly, and that probably means to all other large businesses from 2016. A lot of people in businesses are asking us right now what this means in practical terms. What do we actually have to do? Of course, until we get the regulations document, we won't know for sure, but there seems to be some common themes coming through here that people are talking about. The report itself will go within the director's report. They'll need to sign off against that. Obviously, it's a very important legal document. The methodology is likely to be consistent with DEFRAs that hopefully we're all heard of and all familiar with, and there's plenty of information out there about that. The boundary is an important aspect here, as this needs to be absolutely consistent with the financial boundaries that you will be reporting in your annual report. So for instance, if your business is reporting not only on UK operations, but also on business that happens outside of this country, and that's within that financial boundary, that also needs to be included within your carbon footprint calculation. That means that it looks quite different from the carbon reduction commitment that some of you will be aware of and probably are required to report against. So we've just listed there the types of scopes of emissions you will need to include there, and hopefully those Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions you'll be quite familiar with already. Now, of all the businesses listed on the London Stock Exchange, it's estimated that about 60 are already reporting in some shape or form their carbon emissions. So a lot of work is being done already. However, IEMA has made a comment that relatively few of those are reporting at the required levels. So there may well be quite a lot of work to do there to pull those up to the required standards. In practical terms, how do you go about assessing your emissions? Well, we've already said there the methodology is likely to align with EFRA's, so that's quite straightforward to look into that and find what you need to do. We've talked a little bit about the boundaries and the consistency there with your financial information. Then it's a case of collating your data. If it's the first time that you're doing this, it will take quite a little time to pull all those numbers. Some might be located in finance, some in HR. We find them quite well distributed across the businesses that we work with. You'll want to be using an up-to-date carbon footprint calculator, whether that's proprietary software or whether that's your Excel spreadsheet. The choice is there. You need to make sure clearly that the methods work and those emission factors are right up to date to be sure of your data. Take care as well when you interpret your results, not only to make sure that you get them right, but to get something that's actionable. There may be a source of emissions that takes up a lion's share of the emissions of the business, but are those realistic ones to target? You might find that there are actually lower hanging fruit for you to tackle first, and that may actually help you to basically get the buy-in of people in your business that this is worth doing. So overall, make sure that you don't just do this to get a document and reports to make your reportings, to actually use it to build a better business. We've talked a little bit about calculating your footprint. You may then want to go away and have that verified by someone. That may be just using someone in a different area within your business. However, obviously that does require them to have a good knowledge of what you've done. You may feel more confident in getting a third-party consultancy organisation to do that if your budget runs to that. That certainly is preferable. It all comes down really to the expertise you have in your business and the time people have to undertake that work. It's also an issue of confidence in those results that you're reporting within the director's report. But once you've done that, make sure that you use the results responsibly, but also to make sure that you can get your business into the best competitive position. If you're not getting sales tenders ask you for this kind of disclosure right now, I'd suggest that you need to move your business into a position where you do get to access those types of RFQs, because they are very commonly out there now. If your business isn't exposed to them, you need to make sure you get on those lists. A consideration may also be whether you wish to go carbon neutral. It's often relatively cost effective to make a product or service carbon neutral. The added benefits beyond satisfying your stakeholder and your customer needs are also that many of the projects used by way of carbon offsetting have really good corporate and social responsibility credentials, so they can help you in that area of your objectives as well. There is a little bit of a question mark at the moment on whether there will be a need to audit the carbon footprint results that you get. So just to reiterate, the results are part of the director's report. Clearly, they do hold a lot of legal weight to them. And as we've said, they need to be absolutely consistent with your financial boundary. Does this mean you need to get your accountants or an expensive management consultancy to do the work for you? Not necessarily. And in fact, at the moment, the feeling is that there will be no requirement for that level of audit assurance. Clearly you want to be confident that the numbers are right, so it may well be worthwhile asking a specialist carbon consultant to help you out with that. But our hope is that it won't be a large financial drain on businesses, and it should actually be giving you good results and information that you can work on to save costs within your business. As for CarbonAcademy's take on the carbon reporting, I think that it's been very, very well received out in the marketplace. A lot of the trade bodies and specialist environmental agencies have actually commented they hoped that it would have gone further and included more large businesses. But we're starting somewhere, and if we can hone that process on with the PLCs, then I think that's a good thing. A great benefit here also is that it opens up the possibility of benchmarking. So when you're dealing with a company, if you really want to know how well they're doing in carbon, you'll be able to see that by measuring that directly, taking that information from the director's report. So you can have a look at intensity by way of turnover or headcount. Those sorts of things should be possible. Should you be measuring your carbon footprint yourself? Well, if you have the resource and you're able to, why not? Go for it. Should you get it verified? Well, I think for the confidence of the directors, it would be a good thing to at least be looking to get that verified by someone who is competent within the area. Ultimately, use this as an opportunity to build a better business, use it to drive the costs out within your business, and use it to access new areas of markets perhaps you haven't been before. So overall, we think it's a very positive step for the industry and a very positive step for the UK to be taking this leadership position. We'll be keeping you updated over the next weeks and months on how things are progressing with this new regulations. In the interim, if you'd like to talk with one of our team about your particular situation, please do contact us on the numbers below, or alternatively, please do email me with your questions. Thank you.